airlift to the hospital. But this guy couldn't give a shit long enough to even find out what the injuries were. He gets what's coming to him, having been an abject failure on probation, and it's extremely satisfying to watch. Plus roll nerds.
Judge, this is one that we had started a formal hearing on, but since then I have spoken with my client. He intends to make his change of plea into a true plea to the violations of probation. This one's kind of a weird situation. He had 3 different cases where he was sentenced in 3 different manners initially.
Okay. Do we just have one here?
Just one here.
In this court?
The circumstances surrounding it all arise from this court.
Okay, I guess I'm going to find out how this works here in a minute. In 235045, you were Jalen Wayne Fitzgerald.
Yes, sir.
Raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm any statements you make during this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, sir.
Lower your hand. Okay, does the defendant waive a formal reading of this motion to revoke unadjudicated probation? Can we proceed in summary?
Yes.
He's going to be pleading to this? Is that what we're doing?
He
Or
already pled not true prior at a separate hearing date, but now he intends to change his pleas to true.
Okay, because I didn't write anything of not untrue yet. So I guess
Okay.
there must have been something that came up where we decided maybe
postpone
some more
hearing and come back.
time was
That's
needed.
correct, Judge.
All right. In summary, sir, this motion to revoke unadjudicated probation filed August 14th of 2023. Why did it take so long? Was he an absconder or something?
No, he has been shifted around to several different places. So
For pending cases?
yes,
Yes, sir.
Judge.
All right. On June 21st, 2021, in this court, this states you were placed on 10 years deferred or unadjudicated probation for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, a second-degree felony. Is that true, sir?
Yes, sir.
Allegation 1 states you failed to report to the Jefferson County Probation Office for the months of December 22nd and January, February, March, and April of 2023 in violation of your probation order. Is that true?
Yes, sir.
2 states you failed to provide verification performing community service hours as required. Is that true?
Yes, sir.
3, you failed to enter and successfully complete the Jefferson County Drug Intervention Program, JCDI.
Yes, sir.
Is that true?
Yes, sir.
And 4, you failed to wear a secure continuous remote alcohol monitor. We call that SCRAM, ankle bracelet
Yes, sir.
as required in your probation order. Is that true?
Yes, sir.
Are you pleading true to allegations 1, 2, 3, and 4 voluntarily and because those allegations are true as they are alleged?
Yes, sir.
Do you understand by that a voluntary and knowing plea of true to 1 or more violations of probation, that is enough to grant this motion to revoke probation? Your probation can be revoked and you can be sentenced to this second-degree felony, no less than 2, no more than 20 years confinement in prison.
Yes, sir.
Knowing that, do you insist on pleading true nonetheless?
Yes, sir.
I find you are pleading true voluntarily. You understand and appreciate the consequences of pleading true. Is there an agreement or anything? Is there an agreement on this? No?
No, Judge, there's not.
We're okay. All right. So it's going to be up to me?
There was also originally a cap negotiated with his initial pleas of 12 years to this specific charge.
Yes, ma'am.
But I would like to provide the court with some
Yes, I want to know as much
circumstances.
information as I can about where he stands on all of this.
So in May of 2021, defendant pled on 3 different cases, including this probation one that we are here for today. The other 2 were sentenced to actual time. So he had a state jail felony that he got 18 months for. He had a 3rd-degree felony that he got 8 years TDC for, and then he got deferred on this 3rd charge that we're here for today that the state is attempting to revoke. The 18-month state jail sentence was completed and he was discharged in,
What was that for again?
it
What
was
was-
for DWI child passenger, state jail felony.
Okay, thanks.
He was released and discharged from state jail in October of 2022 he was discharged January of 2022. And then in October of 2022, he was paroled from the Larry Gist unit for his 3rd-degree felony. From there, he was immediately transferred to Orange County to serve additional time for another issue that he had over there. whenever he was released from Orange County, he walked to parole from Gist.
No, from the Orange County, I walked to Dale's house. That was parole, and then they put me on a Greyhound and sent me to Ben Reed in Houston, another halfway house.
In
Okay.
Houston. So then he was in Houston. In November of 2022, he was picked up at the Harris County bus station to go into a transitional center. From that transitional center, he telephoned his probation officer here in Jefferson County to let her know that he was in that transitional center. And then he also, I believe, you contacted probation in December and January of 2020.
Oh, yes.
December of 2022 and
Yes, ma'am.
January of 2023.
Yes, ma'am, I did, and it was not currently Miss Vega that I have now. It was another one, Miss Petlum, and then they switched. She's been my probation officer since January 8th of 2024, and I was already in the Jefferson County Jail by that time.
So whenever he was at the transitional center, starting in January of 2023, he did leave the transitional center himself because there was a really bad drug problem occurring within that transitional center. Throughout that process of leaving,
Wait. Okay.
He voluntarily left. Another
Because
term
of
for that is absconded.
Yes, sure.
but the drug problem within that is what pushed him to remove himself from that
I
situation.
don't understand that. How did such a thing happen? That caused you, with your rich history of mistakes, how did that embarrass you or humiliate you or demean you in some way when you were trying to fix your problem?
Because I was really trying to rehabilitate myself. And then when I left the halfway house over there, I got hit by a car. And they broke my right leg. They tore my left ACL, put me in Memorial Hermann. And then I turned myself into Harris County February 3rd.
Of what year?
Of
2023.
2023, yes, sir.
So he left and then was immediately hit with his karma for leaving. Literally hit
What was
by
the
a
date?
car.
Like the end of January sometime.
Of 23?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And then he was admitted to Memorial Hermann for a couple of weeks. As soon as he was released from the hospital, his sister drove him to the Harris County jail to turn himself in there for leaving the treatment facility or the transitional center. In March of 2023, he was released from Harris County jail, excuse me. And he was wearing a parole-issued ankle monitor. He was still in a wheelchair, staying with his cousin.
What was the day?
That was March of 2023.
March 30,
March
29.
29th of 2023. And then in April of 2023, he was arrested in Jefferson County for a parole warrant. And then the administrative hearing that we're here for on the motion to revoke probation was conducted May of 2023. And then he was released after his blue warrant was lifted in June of 2023 from Jefferson County. He was taken to a halfway house, and that status was reported to Jefferson County probation in June of 2023. And then in August of 2023, this motion to revoke probation was filed.
So, what did the probation office do wrong in any of this? Where are they wrong in their allegations of wrongdoing here? As I'm reading these findings on this hearing of May 9th, 2023, that show you're to blame.
Yes, sir.
I mean, all I'm hearing is everybody else's problem. What are you admitting to?
Yes, I'm admitted for leaving the halfway house on both occasions. I did do that. But May 9th, I was in Jefferson County Jail, and I still have my ankle monitor on whenever the warrant was issued. And then I got out of Jefferson County June 27th, the month that follows that, and they let me go from there and send me to the halfway house. Yes, and I am held accountable for leaving it, and I accept the responsibility that comes with that, Your Honor.
I think what we're trying to show with this timeline, Judge, is how much he's hopped around from here to Orange County to Harris County to transitional centers to halfway houses. There has not been a solid amount of time that he has actually been out to do these requirements that he would need to do on probation. what was it, 65
Then-
days?
Yes, 65.
You have a copy of this May 9th,
I have one that I've written
2023
on.
hearing. No, I've got it.
Oh.
I'm just working off of this. And you can see, look at the highlights.
Yes.
That these aren't good. The highlights mean
Yes,
this
sir.
is bad.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, Ms. Palm had fixed up all these, and I know this person to be accurate. And this is not a good rendition of your responsibilities on probation. And the administrative hearing was conducted on May 9th of 2023. You weren't present. I think you were somewhere else. But I don't think it was necessarily your fault. You were somewhere else. The defendant was granted probation on June 21st. Of sentencing, was also convicted of attempted burglary and was sentenced to 8 years in prison. Released on parole October 4th, 2020.
Yes, sir.
Subsequently transferred to Orange County to serve out other warrants. Released from Orange County on November 1st, 2022 to his parole officer, Ms. Harrison. Ms. Harrison informed the office on the day of defendant's release that the defendant would immediately be transported to Southeast Texas Transition Center in Harris County, where he would remain until he was able to establish other means of housing. He was given instructions to make arrangements to report to the Jefferson County probation in person as soon as possible, so that a request for courtesy supervision of his case by Harris County could be made. During the month of November, he made contact with his officer several times by phone to report he did not plan to remain in Harris County long-term and was in the process of getting his parole transferred to Jefferson. No contact was made during the months of December 22 and January 23. In February 23, officer discovers the defendant was arrested on a parole violation and incarcerated in Harris County Jail from February 3rd, 23 to March 30th. After his release, the defendant made contact with the officer and was provided with instructions to once again report to the probation office immediately. He failed to follow this directive and was a no-show for the month of March 23 and April 23. He was eventually arrested on another parole violation on April 22nd of 23. He remains in custody at the Jefferson County Jail at this time. So you've been in custody since here?
November 5th of 2023. Yes, sir.
Okay. You were arrested somewhere else, I guess, April 22nd, 2023, and ultimately was transferred to here.
Oh, in Nederland in Jefferson County. Yes, sir. In Nederland on April 22nd, I got arrested and I had crutches. They brought me Jefferson County Jail. And then that's whenever May 9th, she put the warrant. And June 27th, they let me out to 2495 Gulf Street.
Which is the halfway house.
Okay. Probation officers tried to work with the defendant, has been considerate of his living situation. However, the defendant has had multiple opportunities to report to the office and fails to do so. And we recommend proceeding with the filing of the motion to revoke probation. You get a sense of frustration
Yes, sir.
from them because you're not on probation if you're not being supervised.
Yes.
We have to be able to supervise you face to face, Okay. As of March 9th, let's see. Says you failed to report as instructed for the month of December 22, January 23, February 23, March 23, April 23. Has made no face-to-face contact with this department since his release on November 21st, 2022. This was dated May 9th of 23. So we're talking about 6 months. Failed to perform 800 hours community service. Has completed 0. Failed to enter and successfully complete the Jefferson County Drug Intervention program and pay all associated costs. Failed to wear a secure continuous a scram ankle bracelet. And owes a balance on court-ordered fees of over $10,000. Yeah, frustration reeks here. And we have so many people on probation that the probationers have to abide by their obligations. After all, they're the ones that have the most to lose by failing. So, what does the state say? Let me find out what everybody wants.
All right. So, Judge, I provided you the PSI because this journey for this individual starts with that sentence and I don't have that date in front of me. I think it was
21.
June 21st, 21. Your Honor properly sentenced him to 18 months on a DWI. That sentence, child passenger, that has properly been discharged.
Yeah.
And I believe and you saw that coming, Judge. I knew that you had the amount of time that he was going to be in custody. It only resulted after that sentencing date, him being in custody a short time before that was discharged. I think ideally, whenever you gave him this deferred on the aggravated assault, you knew you couldn't give him the straight probation. You had a concept in mind that we'd get his attention whenever he goes off, makes whatever parole on the third case, which is the attempted burglary of a habitation. He received an 8-year sentence on that. And I know your goal was intended to have some level of supervision whenever he got out. Therein lies
well on his own supervision.
and therein lies the problem, and why I'm going to argue with you that we don't continue him. He was granted this parole. He was given chances with parole to do certain things. When he was under that, monitoring that, he chose to abscond from one of the halfway houses. He did that back in January of 23. All that at a time in which our department is really trying to work with him. He's still trying to take care of other matters, and I understand that. But he had windows of opportunity to come in and see people face to face and chose not to. He's going to argue that he was relying upon the parole supervision, but Judge, you know that that's just not acceptable. Whenever people are placed on these kind of split sentences, for lack of a better way to put it, you're asking them to be supervised not only by parole, but by our department as well. He was choosing to just let parole handle it. The second problem, in my opinion, that he's got is that he had opportunities to come in and come face to face, chose not to. We held an administrative hearing after all this. That was back in May. You've already detailed all those matters. No probation hold had been done yet because the DA's office had not processed the motion to revoke probation and resulted in the warrant. So when the parole let him out, he just went on about his merry way again. They sent him to a different halfway house, and again, he makes another wrong decision. He leaves there. Now, neither one of those is when parole says, hey, you can leave. He absconds. Escapes is another term for that. Voluntarily absents himself. He's choosing to make the rules. That's not how this operates. And Judge, whenever this original sentence was done, I made the argument then that the case itself that he was placed on probation for warranted a 12-year sentence. It was capped at 12 years. I remember arguing for 12 years. I'm not saying you were wrong to give this man a chance. But I can say today that based upon his conduct, he sure didn't get what I argued when I stood here before you and suggested that he should get a 12-year sentence. And I guarantee you he's about to ask you for another chance.
And
I don't agree with it. I think the 12 years that I asked for before is what's warranted here. Based on the facts of the evidence that he was placed on probation for, that offense itself argues for 12 years.
and defense.
And
That's
Judge, I think that Mr. Fitzgerald and I have calculated it up over the past 5 years. He's only had 65 free days of having an opportunity to contact probation or actually perform a probation related duty. That's just over 2 months of time if we're thinking about it realistically.
No, but he only needs one.
I understand, Judge, but from the complications that come from him hopping around from
There's only
Jefferson
one day.
County to Orange to Harris County,
No, but
I know that
yeah.
I know we talk about him having a chance before, but also how are we defining the word chance? Because to me, he was never actually given a real chance to be on actual probation because of all of the complications leading up to this point. And if he were to have an actual chance at being successful on probation, I think that he himself would tell you that he would do everything he could to be successful.
But he's admitted to 4 violations. Right?
violations that he could
Failed to report,
correct if
Failed
he
to
was given a
provide.
real chance on probation.
but he. Okay. What's probation say before? Have you ever even met the man?
I've met him in the county jail.
That's the only time?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you've never even been to the probation office?
No, because I was, Your Honor, I was locked up November.
How many days has he been out that he could have reported? How many? You told me how many?
It was 21 and then 65. 21 and 65 and 87 days.
87 days.
Or
Yeah, I know, 87 days, sir. I mean, well, 87 days in 3 months of time. My goodness. And you never did anything about contacting anybody, right here?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, you see anything wrong with that?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay.
Another thing, Your Honor, is as hard as that is, they put probation in Port Arthur, and then they put me at a halfway house in Beaumont. The transitional bus doesn't drive over there. I've already tried. And another thing,
Look, impossibility to perform isn't, I'm sure your attorney would have told you this if you talked to them about it. They would tell you if it's impossible to perform, you got to figure it out, but you come to me. And I'm not going to say, no, because you're supposed to walk back and forth from Beaumont. I'm not going to say that.
Yes, sir.
I mean, we would have fixed that. So don't say that if it's impossible, impossibility to perform is an excuse and a defense under law.
Yes, Your Honor.
I mean, the law is not that way. Sorry. Because if it was, if we wanted to get people, we go, you got to report in Spokane every week.
Yes, Your Honor.
We don't do that. We try to make it easy for you we want people to complete. She and her staff, over 90% success rate.
Yes, Your Honor.
The average is 75 in the country. 90% were successful rate. Don't say that we don't take pride
Yes, sir.
and if we lose anyone, we get upset about it because we'd like to see 100%, but 90% is as good as it can be done. Nobody else does that. So it's not their fault.
Yes, Your Honor.
You have the responsibility and burden. We had a child that was injured here, right? In this offense?
Yes, sir.
I mean, this is offense. Okay. I'm a little unclear what your position is. What were the child's injuries, if any?
Well, I think it was just like a bruised eye or something like that. I'm not for sure.
Well, it's your child, right?
No, sir. It was my stepkid.
But your
It was. I'm being honest with you.
stepkid?
Yeah.
You mean a person that,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that you had a relationship under law that you were responsible for as a
Yes, sir.
step parent, right? What was their injury? I'm unclear.
Like a bruise on the eye. Yes, sir.
Is that your final answer? Let me read to you what happened. Your blood sample was taken when you had the children and you were driving and you crashed. Your blood alcohol level was 0.172. That's over twice the legal limit.
Yes, Your Honor.
So you had children that you were supposed to be taking care of. You were booked in for driving while intoxicating with child passengers and intoxication was thought due to the youngest child, Faith Morgan, suffering a broken facial bone and having to be transported to Texas Children's Hospital by life flight.
Yes, Your Honor.
That's what you're telling me is a bruise, just a little bruise to the eye?
I just remember going to jail behind it.
You don't really even care to know about what the facts are. It was your responsibility, sir. You had a little child, 2 little children. And to this day, you won't admit what is in the record there.
I never seen
There it is. Brought by life flight. They don't do that except in rare special occasions where there's life-threatening conditions. And you try to tell me how much you care about your children, and you call this just a little bruise to the eye.
I haven't got to see the paperwork, Your Honor. I'm not trying to argue with you, but I'm wrong. I know I'm wrong, but I'm
When did this happen?
that paperwork in 2020, and I've only been out.
You think in 5 years you would have cared to find out?
I've been
If you really cared?
locked up, Your Honor.
I don't feel sorry for you. I feel sorry for her.
So
And the children that you were supposed to be taking care of, that you were completely, totally irresponsible for. You pay for that. Those children need better supervision. You had that opportunity. Your actions show you didn't care. You were more concerned about getting high. To this day, you don't even care to know how serious that child was injured by your actions. 5 years you hadn't even had any interest or any inclination to discover. You don't care about others. You don't care about others. You just cared about yourself. That's what's obvious here. And your whining doesn't make a difference. I feel sorry for the children that were stuck with you as a responsible party over their lives. This is your version. I was drinking and driving with my girlfriend's kids in the car. But that's just your girlfriend? It wasn't married to her? Yeah. I got in a wreck and the little girl got a black eye. That's what you said. Mac, it's just laughable because it's so pathetic. This was. And what else? I don't remember much about all of that.
Yes, sir. I've been incarcerated, so I couldn't find out too much of it.
Sir, you've been free for days. We talked about this. You've been for a lot of days. But people, you can find out. You could have cared to try to find out if you were really worthy of the responsibility to be a parent-like figure, which is what you were responsible for when you have anybody in the car, much less little children. Let me look at just one thing. Hold on. One other thing. Just one other thing. Do you have any information on that crash? Do you have any information on that car wreck?
It's in the PSI, Judge.
Oh,
I may be able to pull it out of my
I have
head, or I may have it on the
I have a portion of it.
media, Judge. What are you looking for now?
Yeah.
That is to the erect, Judge.
Mm-hmm. You got a great lawyer here, but you can't make miracles. You got to lift your own weight, sir, on responsibility.
What would you like to see your
You have a police report?
police report?
Mhm.
Yes, sir. Give me 1 second. You want to print it out?
I know I've come across it, but I can't find what I'm looking for right this moment. But I think it's in the police report. Does anybody have a copy of that? I can
I
look
don't have
at
a
it.
paper copy, Judge.
Do you have some
Yeah.
a laptop? I can.
Is that Officer Rivera?
The longer one.
You say it's, yeah, that's my memory as it was.
Oh, I scroll. Oh, there it is.
On the mouse pad. See what officer that is, Judge? What are you doing out there?
Hope there wasn't anything important on here. I just erased everything. Hard drive just got taken out. Yeah, how do we scroll down? How do I scroll down?
If you use 2 fingers, it scrolls up.
Oh, right here?
No, no, no. On the trackpad down there.
If you use 2 fingers.
Nope. on the trackpad.
I don't have a laptop like that. I've got a Dell computer.
It's got to be one of those
Okay.
fancy Apple
Yeah.
computers.
Okay, I see. I'm sorry. That's what I have. Okay, I can do that.
Singleton. Thanks.
Oh, wait.
Saw that.
Thank you so
You're
much.
welcome.
Can you do this again?
Printing you out a copy of page.
Yeah, do that again. Oh, no, that's not what you're doing.
Back, Judge.
I got that page. I need another page.
It's front and back.
Judge.
All right. The, this isn't
That's not what you're remembering, Your Honor.
This isn't clear, but what I'm asking is, were the children even buckled in a safety belt?
I can answer.
Because I don't think they were, as I'm reading this. Well, you were oblivious because what they say, you were like incoherent with the police. You were stumbling, falling over at one point. There's nothing that reflects the children were even in a safety, were even safely in their safety belt to prevent injuries.
Make sure that they want a car seat.
Yeah. They were in a car seat and the child almost, had a serious injury to her eye in a car seat.
Yes, sir.
How do you think that happened? No, what did she hit? Was she in the front or the back?
She was in the back seat.
In the back seat, what'd she hit? That almost hurt her eye.
The car seat came up. It came up to like the middle of the console.
Anyway.
Yes, sir.
No, it's obvious though, when you're twice the legal limit, you've got children in the car, you couldn't care less about them. You only cared about getting high. And then you're driving a 4,000-pound missile around with two children and you're incoherent.
Crash report indicates the kids were 2 and 4 years old. The restraint noted on the crash report is 99, but I don't see what a reference as to whether or not that means a child seat or not, Judge.
Okay. All right. Let's get back to this. Let's finish this. I think we've beaten it enough. All right. I see what everybody says. Finally, you, sir, you had a chance to be heard one more time.
So,
If nothing further, I'm going to find there is sufficient evidence supporting this motion to revoke unadjudicated probation to grant it by a preponderance of the evidence or greater, as allegations 1, 2, 3, and 4 have been proven true by a preponderance of the evidence